Let's talk a little Ohio State Buckeyes. That national championship hangover seems to be wearing off, and they are recruiting now. So over the weekend, a big win on the recruiting trail. Caden Dixon-Wyatt, modern-day wide receiver, commits to Ohio State. Brian Hartline continues to clean up at the wide receiver position.
Never a doubt with Coach Brian Hartline and his recruiting prowess, because of the way that he builds meaningful relationships with his top targets, but then the way that he prepares his receivers to not only be drafted high, but then be successful in the NFL. It seems like all of these guys are difference makers for their teams on Sunday and among the best players at the position in the league. And so from the trust that they have, the connection that they have with Brian Hartline, the offense, the prolific passing attacks since Ryan Day has been there, and then just the success that these guys are having when they get to the league, it's an easy sell. Oregon was a leader at one point for Caden Dixon-Wyatt, but Ohio State led all spring. He went back to Oregon just to make sure, but I am not surprised that he committed to Ohio State. He is in the fold for the Buckeyes. It's the number 3 class in the country. They got a shot to finish number 1.
They absolutely do. So who else are the Buckeyes in good shape with as we head into the summer?
Well, quite a few guys. I mean, when you just start at the 5 stars, you start with Felix Ojo. He's the number 4 player in the country, number 3 offensive tackle. I know the on-3 RPM favors Texas, but it seems like every cycle Ohio State goes into the Lone Star State and lands an elite player or two, and Felix Ojo is target numero uno from Texas for Ohio State this cycle. Braylon Womack is the number 1 safety in the country. Ohio State is his leader. I should probably have an on-3 RPM to reflect that, knowing it can change. So stay tuned there. P.J. Dean, top 100 defensive lineman. I do have an on-3 RPM in favor of Ohio State, but Georgia, that's going to be a slobber knocker with Georgia. His brother goes to Georgia. A lot of excitement around the Georgia program for P.J. Dean as well. Sincere Johnson in favor of Key are 2 in-state targets that I have predicted to Ohio State. Sincere Johnson, one of the top 5 linebackers in the country. They're battling Alabama and Oklahoma for him. And then favor of Key on 300 running back, local kid. He's taking his official the first weekend of June. I have him on commit watch for that. Some other elite players going back to the 5 stars. Savion Hyder, he's the number 1 running back in the country. Visited Ohio State in the spring, got to see a spring practice, get around Coach Lachlan and that staff. That was a big visit. They're battling Michigan, Georgia, and Tennessee, but they're certainly in the mix there. Derek Cooper is the number 3 running back in the country. I think they're in the top 2 with Georgia for him. And then Carson Baker, I have predicted to Ohio State right now. So we'll see. I mean, now he's 6'2", 200 pounds, and he can really run. So he's got as much upside as anybody at the position in this recruiting class. I like where the Buckeyes stand. We'll see how it shakes out with visits, see how it shakes out with Savion Hyder and Cooper, because I have a key penciled into the class, and they're going to take 2 guys. Just a few others I want to mention, Josh. Drew Evers is a on 300 offensive lineman from Texas that I think Ohio State's in the top 2 or 3 for. They're going to have a great shot to land Luke Wafel, who's one of the most prized defensive end commits or defensive end prospects in this class. Penn State is in there. Texas is definitely in there, and USC's been rising. And then Jake Krull will be back for an official visit this summer. And then in the secondary, Jordan Thomas, Donovan Webb are a couple guys that they're in the middle of it for. So Ohio State, they're in the mix to finish with the number 1 class. They're coming off a national championship. They had I don't know if a program like had a more electric spring on the recruiting trail with some of the guys that they landed, and they look to keep it rolling in the summer, and it's obvious that they will.
Yeah, coming off that natty, they got some momentum. Ohio State fans, hit subscribe because we are going to be talking Buckeye recruiting all summer long. You don't want to miss it.